This is the Nathan, Nat and Shaun podcast.
Bron Lewis is in the house, everybody. She's here for Fringe World. It's called Who's Talking?
Who's Talking?
Which is about being a teacher, isn't it? Because we know you told us last year that you used to be a teacher.
We
so
couldn't
you must be
believe
feeling
it.
great.
Can you believe anything, Shaun?
You can't.
I can't
Actually,
believe
no,
more
fake
people like
news.
her.
I
Yeah,
know.
fake news. Christ.
No, I believe that you were a teacher, and seeing
Thank
the stuff
you.
that you've been putting out there lately, knowing that classes are going back, some
Yes.
in WA now, but more so next week.
So, because this time of year for teachers, it's awful, isn't it? Because
Yeah, the
I mean,
dread.
we know what it's like going back to work for after holidays because we had to do it this week, but it's nothing like what teachers go through.
Especially at the start of the year, because you've got to get to know all these kids.
Yes, and they're all awful.
A lot of
Mostly.
them are really awful. And I think the worst part about teaching is some of the teachers you work with, because
Sure.
people become teachers for a range of reasons. And I've got the theory that some people become teachers because they either had a really hard time at school and they're going back for revenge, or they peaked at school and then when they finished they were like, oh God, we're like, you know.
High school was amazing.
Yes,
Let's
I
go
only
back
feel
to that.
popular if there's a siren.
Exactly, and they're always PE teachers, and so they always
Yes.
they'll be there, and they're there for I would say the wrong reasons, and they're trying to make friends with the kids, or they're trying to victimize the kids, and then they are just the worst people to be around.
Yes.
All the time.
You just brought up PE teachers. We,
Yeah.
as students, see them as the coolest.
Yeah, for sure.
What does
Yeah.
teachers see?
Oh, God.
What do teachers see teachers as? Is there a hierarchy in coolness of teachers and what they do? Are
yeah.
sports people the coolest?
So you were a
Absolutely
drama
not.
teacher, huh?
No, I was a English teacher.
English teacher, yeah.
But PE teachers, no one respects them. And then
They're like in the corner playing with a ball.
well, they're
13, 24, Jen, if you're a PE teacher and you agree, give us a call.
Yeah, we'll discuss it for sure.
Because in the staff room, when I was doing I was working out what people want to hear about this about teachers, because it's not just teachers who are coming along. So there's a lot of teachers in there, but I wanted to know what people who aren't teachers wanted to know about. And a lot of people I want to know what goes on in that staff room. I'm like, oh, that's easy. It's just heaps of teachers looking for biscuits, and there's one lady in there always, probably called Doris, and she's there all the time eating a curried egg sandwich, and she's talking about a bloody Tupperware that's still there, and no one's bloody picked it up, and you're like, oh, Doris, do you work here? I've never seen you not in the staff room. And there's always one PE teacher wearing shorts in the middle of winter, stretching his
That's
groin
Shaun.
Yes.
on the floor.
Sounds
Is it you,
familiar.
Shaun? And then he's just talking about how good Year 9 camp was, and you're like, there's so many red flags, mate.
Nathan put the call out for a PE teacher. We found one. Mrs. Rogers, hello.
Hi, how you going?
Hi, Mrs. Rogers.
Mrs. Rogers.
Mrs. Rogers, who did you teach?
Nathan.
Did you know he just said
Very
PE teachers
specifically.
are the coolest in the world?
Nathan's PE teacher.
Hey.
I don't know whether you remember, Nathan, but I remember you. You come into the gym
Yeah.
and there'd be 200 kids in there, but guess who we all heard? Nathan.
Yeah, no, this
Everyone
sounds
you know.
familiar. We know where you're coming from.
So wait there. What year, Miss Rogers? What year? What year was it?
So I hope it's okay saying this.
Yeah.
I think you were year 11 or 12, and then you had the year off when your
Brother passed
died,
away. Yes. Yeah.
and then you came back.
Yeah,
So
so
you
that
know
was good.
you-
I was in my sports era there, Shaun. I won the Phys Ed award.
Did you?
So you did it, it was a year 12 subject.
I won a Phys Ed award and the Art award, and those two awards have never been won by the same
No, I
person.
wouldn't have thought so.
It's not a lot of crossover generally.
How's life been, Mrs. Rogers?
Well, I'm definitely not teaching anymore.
Girl, that's
So
good.
Bron was suggesting that the PE teachers aren't the coolest. Would you...
Oh,
no,
don't
English
say
teachers always say that.
Yeah, it's a fight against the English
Because
teacher.
they're in their books and their pale skin inside.
Yeah, they're all flouncing around in their cardigans.
God,
Using
here
big
she comes.
words.
I can hear the clogs coming down the hallway. But the best thing about being an English teacher is you can just make it up the whole time. You know, I guess in PE you might need to know the rules at soccer. I don't really know, Mrs. Rogers, but I know need a whistle or something. But with English teachers, you could just pretend you've read the book.
Yeah.
And then you just have to walk into the class and you go, righto, who's read the text? And then one kid will be like, yeah, I have a question. Why'd the protagonist have to die? And you go, great question. What do you think the protagonist
Why don't we talk about that class?
Thanks,
brilliant.
Mrs. Rogers.
Thanks, Mrs. Rogers.
Oh, my God, what a
that's
blast from the
okay.
past.
Yeah, you're a joy.
honey.
That's gorgeous.
Nathan, Nat and Shaun podcast.
Our special guest this morning is comedian Bron Lewis.
Bron, you seem to be enjoying your time in Perth. We were seeing some videos on your Instagram, but one that really took me is someone sent you in a song about Perth.
Yeah. It was a woman who lives here. She said, because I do love coming to Perth, and I think she was like, oh, you're going to love this song. And is it called...
Well, we're going to play it. We got the video, Sam?
How great is Perth?
Is it the best place on earth?
Sounds like it's from an 80s movie.
No, it's not.
It is from the 80s.
Right, it's from the 80s. Okay, wait there.
Nothing beats living here on the West Coast. How good
There
is
she
Perth?
is. Nat.
Wendy Matthews, that is. Wendy Matthews or something. That is, I've never, ever heard this. Who's it by?
I think it was an ad for possibly Channel 10.
Right, because I love how they're like so unsure, like they haven't actually committed. How good is it? Like they've not, like there's no statements in there.
We still don't know how good it is.
It's good, isn't it?
Yeah.
Speaking of rating things, one thing I love about you that you don't see a lot of comedians do is after every show, you rate your audience. So you properly review your audience and give it a rating out of 10 and tell them where they went wrong.
Yes, because it's a two-way street. It's not like a lot of jobs. It's like, okay, well, I will serve you, or I will be this, or I will whatever, and then it's like
Service
it's all
with
really
a smile.
up to
You've
you.
done nothing wrong, and it's
Exactly. But with comedy, if they come in, like if they've had a bad day or if they've like struggled with parking or it's, I don't know, 4 million degrees, if they've come in with like a bad attitude and they're like, oh, I just wish I was at home. All right. And it doesn't matter what you do on stage, they're giving you peanuts.
Well, because they're the ones that act like they're by gunpoint. It's like, it's like, you know what? It's just smile.
Just like relax, uncross your arms.
Yes, energy,
I
body
get it.
language.
Yeah, women are allowed to do this too, mate. And then,
Well, I didn't say that. He doesn't have a right to be upset.
So your first audience in Perth got 9 out of 10,
they
which
were
is
brilliant.
great.
So the reason why I started is because in Adelaide last year, I had a couple in the front row. They're maybe in their 60s, and I would tell a joke, and there'd be the laughter, deafening, and then
so much so.
So much. I was like, guys, let me
shut
tell
up.
the
I heard
next
it from
one.
here. Just shut my window.
And then the couple would laugh, and then as soon as the laughter would die down, the husband would then explain the joke.
But I like that. That's good for the because there's other people and they're just clapping, not getting it, and then that's great for him. Everyone who doesn't know, this is what's going down.
Yeah, he's my subtitles.
Yeah.
And so he and she would kind of be just like nodding. She was so used to it. It was like 40 years with this idiot.
Mansplaining.
And I eventually I had to say, I'm so sorry, mate. Please, she gets it. She knows what's going on. He wasn't translating it to another language. He was just saying what she did there was just saying, talking about her kids, and she's saying, and it would go forever, and I'd just hear this dumb voice next
I'm sorry,
to me
but what a great
forever.
show to go to, right? So, so you're up there, Bron, doing your thing. Everyone's laughing, and then everyone in the audience waits for this guy to explain what it is, and then we start again.
Yes, torture. It was torture, and he'd seen me in a different show, and then I'd say a joke, and he'd been to, and he'd go, "Oh, this is different to the last joke."
Remember last time when she said this?
Yeah. So it's people. How people get less than 10 out of 10 is if they come late, or if they. Another one that scored very badly was, and this is, I blame my white trash family for this. It was in Sydney, and my white trash cousins came, and there was a bar in this theatre. So they are very distracted by this. So they would stand up and kind of shuffle through 4 times in 1 hour. They went to the bar,
And it was all your family.
My white trash family wouldn't have gone and sat down. They would have been at the bar the entire time.
And then right near the end, just as I had just before the final punchline, my cousin Tara Bradley, I don't care, she stands up, she shuffled through, and she's like high heels on floorboards, and and I was like, what is she doing? And so I had to suspend time to wait and wait, and the pause was going forever. And then she went to the bathroom, and we listened to her vomit.
Was that loud? Oh, because
Yeah,
was quiet.
because I'm trying to have
And then the old man was like, "So what's happening here, sweet? She's throwing up because she's overindulged because she's white trash."
That's right, yeah. And she's related to her. You can tell she's about to vomit as well. Yeah.
This is the Nathan, Nat and Shaun podcast.
talking about hotels. Natalie
sure
tried
are.
to get back to her hotel and she couldn't. Like, she couldn't get there. And then when she got in there, she couldn't get to the airport because Joe Biden decided to swing on by there.
Apparently that's where he stays when he's in town.
We're about to find out all the different things that can happen when you're staying at a hotel.
Sean, hello.
Yeah, g'day, fellas. Yeah, I kind of had the opposite with my hotel. I was in Kenya in 2010 in Nairobi, and they had the elections on. Anyway, I'd finished my tour, and the last night I stayed in a really crappy hotel.
Yes.
And the elections were corrupt, so people literally starting to get shot on the street and that. I've gone back to the hotel. The receptionist, she's literally just locking up. She's leaving. All the other guests are like, yeah, we're out of here as well. Security guards go, mate, not on my watch.
And you're like, wait there, I
So
just
I'm like-
ordered room service.
Yeah, I'm like, so what do I do? And they're like, well, mate, just leave the key in your room the next day.
Oh!
So I'm going, everyone's leaving the hotel because it's not safe. So then I'm going, all right, I'm out of here as well. So then I went to the airport because I was due to leave 7 o'clock the next morning. I'm like, I'll stay at the airport, don't care.
Yeah.
But the airport in Kenya shuts at 6 o'clock at night. So then I'm like a beacon out the front of the airport. So then I had to go across the other side of the road and sleep in the bushes that night. 'cause I couldn't find anywhere to sleep.
Bushes.
And that was better than Sean.
And the bushes in Kenya. In Kenya, I'm guessing there could be things in the bushes.
Well, yeah, but it's better than standing out the front of an airport turned on with your backpack and looking like
Yeah.
you clearly might have some cash.
Hey, can I just
That's
say-
unbelievable.
This-
You wouldn't have slept a wink hiding out in a bush, would you, Sean?
Nah, not really, because then I was worried about spiders and stuff, and I kept on rotating all the bushes.
Oh,
I kept
no,
on
a
going
Daddy
from one
Longlegs.
bush to another.
Sorry.
Yeah,
From one
I didn't
bush
know,
to
I didn't know
another.
who could. So I'm just running around different bushes all night. It was pretty,
So-
pretty stupid to look at, actually.
I would have taken my chances in the hotel in the middle of the riot, to be honest.
At least
Jeez,
sleeping under the
completely
bed better than
unstaffed.
sleeping on top of a bush.
That's extraordinary. Loved
Sean,
it.
you're a survivor. Well done. What a great story. Thank you. Lynn's in Ocean Reef. Hello.
So my husband worked for a hotel group in Africa, and they had a lot of theft there. So they actually had to bolt the flat screen TVs down because some of the clients would actually come in, open their suitcase, put the flat screen TV, the kettles, the linen, and just walk out.
Well, you know what? It's just like, I mean, it is more convenient than Harvey Norman.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
true. That's true.
You have to get
That is
bigger TVs.
amazing. So because some people do, they just
steal
they
everything.
look at what the Versace hotel was so gross in the
Yes.
Gold Coast. We've stayed there several times, but it was so funny, Lynn, because everything was on chains.
Yeah, so the cushions on the
They'd be like,
couches in the lobby.
they'd advertise a real Versace everywhere. Yeah, real Versace cushion, but yeah, a chain like like the pens at the bank.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy.
That's crazy.
Would you
the
steal
people-
a kettle and stuff from a hotel?
No, I don't even take the shampoo.
Oh, Megan
I don't-
takes it all. The
only
shampoos
time
and
I've
stuff,
taken
for
the
sure.
shampoo and stuff is from the Nathan Hotel.
Yeah,
and I
yeah,
took
they
it
do.
every day, and then rarely do I have guests stay, but when they do, they get
Yes.
like a little shampoo and conditioner and some Nathan Hotel
It looks like
slippers.
you get your own merch printed. That's so funny. Oh, thanks, Lynn. Hello, Phil.
Hi guys, how are you?
Oh,
Good.
deal.
Phil, blow us away. What happened at your hotel?
So my wife and I went to Italy in 2012 and we're just sort of moving around using booking.com. You know, we'd stay somewhere for a couple of days and then look up where to go next. So anyway, we wanted to, let's go to Siena. So we looked at this hotel. It looked really good on the internet. We get there, I'm telling you, it looked like Faulty Towers and something out of the 1970s. It was unbelievable.
Yeah.
Anyway, they've got those really skinny lifts. You can hardly fit
Yes.
two people in them
Yes.
without your luggage. So we go up to the room, and you have to turn right when you get out of the lift. You go to your room. So we go to the room, we check our gear in, and then, well, let's go for a walk. Okay, so we come back down, and then the wife goes, oh, I left something in the room. She goes, but I'm not going back up in that lift because she didn't trust it.
Yeah.
Okay, no worries, I'll wait here. So she goes up the stairs, and instead of turning the same direction to go to the room, because the stairs came out on the opposite side of the lift,
Yes.
she went the wrong way.
Yes.
Anyway, she goes to her room, or what she thought was our room, puts the key in the door opens. Walks in the room, she's like,
no.
where's our stuff? Hang on a minute. This room looks different.
Yeah.
Oh, my God, it's not our room.
Yeah.
So she
Mate.
goes to the next room, puts the key in the door opens.
She's going room to room.
No, but no, Sean, every key opens every door.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. She's going room to room.
She had the key. She had the power, Nathan.
Absolutely, but she was a bit paranoid after that. So then when we're in the room at night, we're like, okay, got to push the dressers up against the door. We're locking our suitcases to the dresser. we're making sure no one could get in.
So did you say anything to the staff? Did you say we've discovered that our key opens every door to
Then it
every
makes it
room?
look like you're breaking into the rooms.
And surprisingly, the staff weren't surprised.
Nathan, Nat, and Sean in podcast form.
Ricky Lee, hello.
guys.
It's
You
just
just
wet
went to
hot.
New York for holidays, though, and in the middle of winter.
Yeah.
How did you find it? Were you cold,
was
or
the
did
best.
you love
I
that?
was never cold.
So
Not
you-
once was I cold. I
know
was
what
in
I love?
Aspen on the snow wearing a thin top. And that was too much. I wish I could have taken it off and just been in my bra. You know, have you ever seen Chelsea Handler skiing
Yes.
down the slope slightly
Yeah,
with
on
her
a
boobs
horse.
out?
Yeah.
I was so ready to take my top off. I was sweating. My hair was wet from sweating, and I was in the snow. I was in the freaking snow. I'll go and I know the hotels that don't, because I travel a lot for work.
Yes.
I know the hotels that don't let you turn it down. So I choose to stay in other hotels
So you
or
blacklist them?
hotels with those old split systems. Because
Yeah.
those ones,
Yeah, you can crank them up.
They can't rig them. They
So
go
that is
really
your
cold.
criteria, is
Yes.
just the ability to turn the aircon
Yeah.
down as low as possible.
Yeah,
You're
I'm
so
not,
funny.
I don't think I'm a diva, but that with air conditioning and temperature, it has to be freezing.
Ricky, I want a serious a question about Idol. Are we going to get another Ricky Lee? Because it doesn't seem to. Maybe it's because
What
of some of the
is a
reality
Ricky
shows.
Lee, though?
A Ricky Lee is a person that can establish an entire career that we can look. We before we had you on,
Yeah.
we went through a catalogue of your songs and we're going, God, that's a banger, that's a banger, and you do,
you.
but we haven't had. We've
We've
that.
seen you performing
No.
live at events around town. Well,
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
you know,
you're doing it. Look at you in the
doing it.
drive show. You're like your career's never been better, Ricky. But there's you and there's Guy.
Yep.
And
Jess Malboy. Casey Donovan. And Millsy, who forged a career in musical theatre. But they're all the old school from your era. Nobody from the new era seems to be kicking it off.
It's a funny the music industry has changed so much since I was on the show. Think about when I was on the show. We didn't have social media.
No, I know.
There
same.
was
Yeah.
you had to basically go on the dark web to find some weird forum where people were ASL,
Mate, when I was in Big Brother, Ricky, there was the first 3D camera that was in there, and people had to log on to a website to watch the 3D camera, and that was running 24 hours a day with no sound, and that was the first real taste that we had of that.
Isn't that crazy
Yeah.
though? But you think about how much streaming didn't exist.
No.
Spotify and Apple Music didn't exist. We were if you liked music, you were going into a shop and you
Buying
were
a
buying an
CD.
album
Yeah.
for $40.
Yes.
Or you were buying a single for $5
Yep.
and you really liked it and you had it in your car and you flogged it and you listened
and when
to
you
it over
when
and
it
over again.
scratched, you'd be like, oh.
Yeah, and so that's the difference. Then iTunes came in, and so then people were downloading songs, and then they kind of get lost in there, so they don't really listen to it because they get lost. And now streaming is there, and everything is so quick and so fast, and there's hundreds of thousands of songs that are released every day. The industry is just so different. So I just think we can't place the same expectation on artists to make it in the same way that they did. What's the last new artist that didn't come from one of these shows that you remember who doesn't come through the US, who's a local Australian artist that is not the Kid Laroi, that's not one of those that's not Sia, that's not one of those huge international artists, someone that's just an Australian artist. It's really hard for record labels who know what to do, know how to do it, to cut through the noise. It's
you know
just
what?
So much
it was probably
harder.
Amy Shark, to be honest.
Yeah.
She was probably the last one that really did it.
And I reckon that was probably the tail end of that kind of way of coming through the industry, and she's done an amazing job. And it's just even having I released my album last year through my own label. I released it, did it all myself. So I had an idea of how it all worked, but even more so now, it's just there is so much to cut through. And it really relies, I think, on radio, Australian radio, getting behind Australian artists and Australian music, and not Australian artists like the Kid Laroi, who are actually international artists.
Yes.
We need to support. I think Missy Higgins said this in her ARIA Hall of Fame speech, that we need to support our young artists, because otherwise the industry is not going to survive, and we're just going to be taking on internationals.
That's all
so
we'll
I
do.
think something like Australian Idol, we give the platform for Australia to get to know these amazing singers, and then it is up to them after the show.
Love you, Thanks, Ricky Lee.
Love you guys.
Bye.
It's the Nathan, Nat, and Sean podcast.
Welcome back, Kate Walsh. It's
Kate.
been so long since we saw you.
I know, I'm so happy to see you. Thanks for having me.
You've got power woman in charge of a big business vibes with your hair. Talk to me.
Oh, okay. You know, well, it's funny.
Because she had it cut, everybody, if you don't follow
Yeah,
Kate
that,
on
that was
social.
last year, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, I cut it I think last June after a play I did in New York. I needed to sort of have a little
Distance
little
yourself
refresh,
from that, yes.
refresh.
And then you remember that time where Britney shaved her head and attacked everyone
Yes,
with an
it's
umbrella
my
and you went, I want
Britney.
some of that.
Yeah, this was basically my, beyond middle-aged Britney moment. It's just too late for a terrible sex video, so I had to just cut my hair off. So yeah, no, but I really like it.
I like
but
it.
It's. I used to be blonde in the '90s when I was 200 years ago with Thomas Jefferson when he was president. Never mind. It's a lot. I am all over the shop. The world is.
Kate, being in your position though, when you make a change,
Because Sean,
everybody wants to comment about it.
Not just
Oh
that,
my
it
God.
becomes
Yeah.
news.
Yeah.
Imagine
Yeah,
getting a
it's news,
haircut
it's
and
news.
become news. How
Yes.
did your fans deal with it?
Because it was on Perth Now. It was a story on Perth Now.
Stop it.
Yes,
Yeah,
it was. It was.
Oh, mate, you fart and it's on Perth
Yeah,
now.
that's right. Yeah.
It's true because I did fart and it was on Perth Now, and there was like, wow, she's just like us.
Kate farts a trick. So how did your fans react to that?
I think a lot of fans don't. I don't really look at it. I just occasionally see the comments.
Yeah.
They're like, we just really miss the red hair. And I'm like, because a lot of them are kids and a lot of them never knew. But I started out as bleach blonde, an unnatural shade
And
of
can I
blonde.
tell you why I know
Some
that?
people say, "Yeah, how do you know?
Because my mother and father were having a discussion about you over the break. Because I know you and we're friends. They
Can't
feel
do
like
that
that
anymore.
they're friends with you too.
Yes.
And they said, oh, we were watching Kate the other day on the Drew Carey show. And I went, what? And she goes, she was. I said, no, she wasn't on the Drew Carey show. She goes, yes, she was. She was Drew Carey's boyfriend, a girlfriend. And then they pulled up a scene on YouTube where you are at the fridge and you're erotically feeding each other chicken. And I was like, that is Kate, and you look like 12. That is, I never knew you were there. You were on that, and you were on then. Yeah,
was
You're
like my
always Addison
first-
Montgomery to us.
I know that was my first kind of big gig was playing Drew's girlfriend, and the whole bit
and as if
was,
Drew Carey could have gotten you in real
Well,
life.
the
I mean,
whole
come
thing
on.
was
You're doing all right. Hey, Kate, how's your summer been?
my summer or my
Yeah.
stomach.
No,
Oh,
your
'cause my
summer, 'cause
summer's
we-
a little like ooh. No, my summer is
It's going around though. Everyone's got it. I lost a couple of kilos before I came back.
Did you? On the toilet?
Yes.
Oh, no. Did you,
I think it was an
did you
oyster.
sit on normal way or did you sit on the face in the face of your
Holding on.
holding on with your head on the seat?
No, my summer's been great. We got back about 4 weeks ago, and it's been amazing. Like the beach. Come on,
Yeah.
There's nothing better than W7. And then we went
Yeah.
down to Denmark. That was really, I love it. Denmark.
Green
It's
pool,
beautiful.
Greens pool.
Yes,
Yeah, it's
went to
gorgeous,
Greens
isn't
This is
Pool.
my thing about you. I do think you should be made West Australian of the year. I really
Thank
do.
you.
But I
That's why I'm here, actually.
But I don't think
Make it
people
happen.
realise that you live in Perth and you go out and you have your life in Perth. So
That's
I want to
true.
know. I just want to know. What is the freeway exit that you take to get to IKEA? Do you know that?
No, I don't. I know I've been to IKEA. I don't know what the freeway exit is. I'm sorry.
That's Cedric Street. So
Cedric Street.
Sean, do you have a question that
We
she
need to
should
make
know
a
about
note of
her?
that.
That she should know.
What is the tower down at the Elizabeth Quay called that comes into a point? That's WA's biggest pride.
I know, and I don't know it.
No, we're not proud of it. It's the Bell Tower.
Oh, it's the bell
Okay,
tower.
okay.
But is that what?
Yeah,
is
that's
was
what
that
it's
a-
What is it? What is the tunnel called? What is our only tunnel called? Our only tunnel. And this, you know what? And this is the thing. Should you be? Don't you? You whisper it. You-
The Great Farmer
and that's
Freeway.
so you can go out and meet your fans in the hills.
Well done.
Yes, yeah.
What is it?
The Great Farmer Freeway.
Yep, she's one of us. That's the citizenship
Absolutely.
test done.
Kate, one of the things you've done a lot by going up north, right, Ningaloo Reef and doing all that
Yeah.
stuff, and you talked about Righto going down south. Out of all those favourite places, what's the go-to that you like the best?
I mean, I love them all equally in different ways, like the children I don't have, or like my cats.
Your three cats.
But
yeah.
I mean, I love Rottnest Island. I love the idea that I could just hop on a ferry
Yeah.
in 20 minutes.
It's right
Like,
there, isn't
I
it?
can't believe that it's there, and it's so beautiful and pristine. And I love that everyone rides bikes, and that I just love it. I love everything about it.
The reason you're here is you're promoting your appearance on a new show that's going to be on the ABC called Optics, where you guest star in episode 2 as a horrible boss.
I know.
Or is she? Or isn't she?
You're really in your boss era,
so
aren't
good.
you?
Oh,
Emily
yeah.
in Paris.
I am. I know. Like the weird, evil boss lady. I love it.
Yeah.
That's partly why I cut that. Well, I actually had this short hair in mind because the two women, Jenna and Vic Owens and Jenna Zerbst, who made Optics, we're developing a show together that we hope to shoot here in WA.
Oh, really?
Yeah, cool.
And later in 2025.
Is it about the bell tower?
No.
They seem like they would be
About
good.
the tunnel, the Grand Farmer Freeway.
Kate, they seem like.
You're just going to go back and forth.
Oh, they're
we might
closing
even
it down
go to
again.
IKEA. What?
Cedric Street.
They seem like very intelligent in that their writing. I'd imagine their writing would be really good that you would enjoy.
Oh my gosh, they're so good. And they're great improvisers too.
Yeah.
And they're just, the whole cast is amazing. Everyone.
During COVID, people might be familiar with a skit that they wrote, which was about contact tracing, where they were Gen Zs doing contact tracing, showing the adults how to do it because, they're like, just check the Snap Map. It was amazing. And that's what really thrust them into the spotlight back then.
Oh, really?
And yeah. They do great stuff. They're both very, very good writers.
Yeah, they're super. They're incredible producers, actors. They're just amazing. So I was really thrilled to do it. On the second
So it's about
episode.
crisis management. So it's a show that's based on a crisis management agency.
Workplace comedy, very funny. I'm very excited for everyone to see it. So it does. It drops today, right?
Yeah, we're going to see that in the ABC, of course. One of the things, then, without giving too much away, right? You cry in it, and I was wondering about how good you are at just doing. I mean, that's
Can
what
you
you've done
cry
for a long
now?
time. Is it a hard thing?
Probably.
The time is 8:30. And I'm here. I'll
I
cry.
already have my morning cry.
We cry in the garage before we walk upstairs.
No, the crying. It's interesting because doing it in a comedy is much harder. And it's funny that you ask about that because an actress friend of mine here was like, just tell them, pitch that she doesn't cry, and I'm like, no, they wrote it. I get why, because the turn is so good.
Yeah.
Going from how it goes to her in tears. So I had to work very hard to come up with some.
What's your process?
Oh, I throw everybody under the bus. I dig up a bit.
Do you think about death?
Do you use eye drops? Don't get the tears going. Don't you? They're your real tears.
Yeah.
Professional.
Yeah.
And did
Kitty
you have
don't
to
play
do it?
like that. No. I'm like, no.
Have you used your fake tears in your personal relationship?
Yeah. Excuse me a moment.
Exactly.
A little
You're
bit
really
of
upset
menthol.
me now.
She's distraught, everyone.
Kate, do you have to do it? Film that part more than once?
Yeah, we did a few times. But not too many. But
I hate takes. That's the one thing about TV that I hate is that we're radio. So what comes out of our mouth, it's done, and then we move on. That's why we can never remember what we've done in our show. But to do takes and takes again, does that shit you? Because whenever they tell us, "Oh, that was perfect, let's get it again," it's like, well,
it wasn't perfect.
You said it was perfect.
Yeah, I know. It's very difficult. But that's why it was so fun doing this show as well, because they moved quickly, but so if they got it, then they didn't bother.
ABC budgets that are back around.
What's the most takes you've ever done on a scene where you're going, "Oh my God, are you kidding me? Can we move on?"
Oh my gosh. Probably like 20. And that's not even Michael Mann era.
Really?
Michael Mann, I've never worked with him, but he apparently does 50, 75 takes.
No.
Just.
No.
So you don't even know I wouldn't even know. You have to that's like some sort of weird drug at a certain point. You're like, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't.
Yeah, that's awful.
Oh my God, that's insane. Would there be a day of filming?
Yeah, it's long. Yeah, I don't think there are those budgets anywhere anymore. They're like, not
It's like good enough. Let's go. Keep going.
Exactly. Not since the tech bros took over Hollywood.
Yeah.
They're like, sorry, 1.5 takes and you're done. We're watching you. Yeah.
Nathan, Nat, and Shaun podcast.
Special guest in the studio. They just keep coming. Star of stage and screen.
Star of the creators of one of our most favourite things on the planet.
That's right, which is Rosehaven, obviously.
So
You've
good.
seen him on your telly. Luke McGregor, welcome back.
Hey, Luke.
Thank you.
Luke
It's good to be back.
McGregor, a
It's
bit
good
of
to be back.
strife happening at the moment in your world, though, are you? A bit of you're trying to get some sleep and something's in your way.
Oh, my sleep apnea machine broke.
I thought you were going to say children. No,
No, it's a classic showbiz story.
The glamour.
Yeah,
So you've got like you're a fighter jet.
I flew
pilot.
all the way from.
What is the machine? Tell us what the machine is.
Sleep
first.
apnea machine. So I can't breathe in my sleep. Like I try to, my body goes, we got this, we know how to breathe, and then it just forgets.
Yes.
And so
then you gasp for air suddenly and wake
and
up,
sometimes
right?
I wake up and I've been drowning, and I'm like, this is, I guess, and then I talk to people and go, you know when you wake up and you feel like you've been drowning, and they go, no.
Oh, well, anyway.
Yeah.
So
You know when you're crying really hard and your eyes start to bleed? No.
Do you feel exhausted? Were you feeling exhausted?
You're waking
I
up
used
all
to
the
take
time.
3-hour naps, which were also useless because I couldn't sleep.
So now you have to wear the mask
Now
to bed?
I Darth Vader it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's changed my life. But last night, because the hotel had PowerPoints that weren't the right size for it.
What are you talking about? It's not a different country here.
No, it's one of those power banks that had like an extension on it. And
I
then
know what you mean, yeah.
Sometimes it's too. Yeah. It's
I
the way
had to
it's
plug it in
molded.
elsewhere, and it snapped. And so I woke up ruined, going, "What's wrong?" I was wearing my mask. And the problem with sleep apnea machines, if they're not on, it's actually harder to breathe with them on.
Could you not get one of the staff to come and blow into the other end of the hose, give you their oxygen?
That's what I had to do in the end.
Yes,
I had to do it in shifts because they get tired.
Yeah.
So every half
They were
hour,
getting
someone would
dizzy.
come in and blow into it.
Was that a talking point with your wife early days?
Oh, because that's a discussion before you sleep
it was.
over.
It's one of the issues of being a virgin for so long is I didn't know what the sleep issues I had.
Luke was there and asked me if I snored, and I said, no, I don't know. And he goes, why? I said, because no one's there to tell me.
I'll stay over. I'll record you. My wife said, you sound like you dying in your sleep. It's horrific.
Wow.
And so I went and investigated, and the guy goes, so you have 36 episodes a night.
So you did a sleep clinic?
Yeah, I just sleep.
Whoa.
And he goes, you have 36 episodes a night where you just stop breathing. I'm like, 36 episodes a night. And he goes, no, sorry, 36 episodes an hour. I'm like,
so that's like
you could have died 36 times within an hour.
You're waking up every 2 minutes.
Yeah, he said you're in more stress when you're asleep than you are when you're awake and you're anxious.
And you're not exactly calm when you're awake.
No, right? That's what I said.
So is it to do with like a juicy tonsils or like big adenoids or what? Is it something?
My dentist said, and I didn't know there was another way to feel insecure, but my dentist said, you've got small holes. And I'm like, what does that mean? And she goes, you're all of your openings that I can see are small.
Every orifice into Luke McGregor is tiny.
I'm only talking about the ones I can see. But they're all smaller than normal. And I'm like, okay, so I'm guessing the small holes has something to do with it.
Hey, Luke, was there anything else you investigated? Because my brother-in-law has one of those machines as well.
My sister-in-law's got one. Yeah.
I was telling Luke when Luke brought it up outside. I said to Luke, I was at the chemist not long ago, Sean, and there was the amount of people. The chemist said that I said I've never looked at the sleep apnea wall.
Yeah.
And they said the amount of people that come in is you wouldn't believe it.
So you use obviously everyone's using those machines, but do you investigate other things that
is there
a
surgery you can
dietary
have?
thing that people go, oh, maybe if you eat this and
losing weight apparently helps.
Opens your holes a bit.
Yeah, but it's essentially if you got small holes, there's nothing.
Okay, I'll write that down.
I've got a support group. Let's go to the really small doorway. You got to squeeze through.
It's the crumpet crowd.
Yeah.
Just in a group of tiny holes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So being over here for Fringe, Luke, we get to see your fine work.
I forgot I got to plug the show.
Yes.
I'm touring again. It's been like 6 years.
I was going to say it must be a while since you've done a solo show because you have been busy doing other things, obviously writing TV and stuff.
I just wasn't writing any comedy I'd write would go into the show and go to Rosehaven, and then I've just really missed it.
Yeah,
and now I've gotten married and had kids and stuff. I've actually got stuff to talk.
Whole new font of material.
How long after getting married was it still a buzz to say my wife? Was it exciting?
It never gets older. It's hard to say, not in the Borat voice. I feel like Borat's ruined my wife forever.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. But I don't want anyone who wants to come and see the show.
Yeah.
Like, just because my holes are small doesn't mean the jokes.
The comedy isn't large.
No.
Yeah, the microphone. We turn up the microphone a little
just
bit.
Just means they come out more forcefully. Like
it's
the
small
spray
hole
nozzle.
man, big hole comedy.
Yeah.
That's what you want to know.
Did you have a surprise wedding?
Yeah.
Yes.
We didn't. I didn't want any of my relatives there.
None of them live in Perth, I hope.
Well, it's just a whole logistical nightmare. And then we just thought, let's just do an elopement, but we'll get mum and dad there and but then we did a bigger party afterwards.
Yes.
I like my relatives. I just didn't want them
There.
You
don't want them attached to a lifelong memory that you're going to cherish.
I didn't want Nana saying she'll pray for people and the COVID's fake, and I just wanted
the COVID's fake.
Just wanted a normal wedding. My Nana follows. I'm sorry, Nana, if you're listening to Nova Perth right now.
I can imagine her that morning though, moulding her alfoil hat to match her dress.
Nana had a guy. She didn't get vaccinated because she said it was Satan's wish that happened, and then she was following a preacher that someone had given her a CD of. That guy ended up dying of COVID. It was just, and it just made Christmas was just a nightmare back then. Still,
anyway. Nana's full blown into that sort of stuff. That's interesting. I love it.
You get to a certain age, I'm just like, I'm not going to try and
change.
Like,
you're at the end.
Nana's close to.
You're just 90. Not going to invite her to things anymore.
Well, I do. I just make sure everyone else is healthy around her.
Sure.
Hey, Luke, many years ago you were living with Tommy Little. I think we were speaking about it once before. Was it hard going into a Well, you used to live
in a share house or relationship.
Yeah, that's right.
We were friends, and then we moved in together, but we already kind of. Like, we already knew our dynamic. Like, I was going to be Chucky to his Tommy.
Yes.
If anyone knows the Rugrats. I was always going to be the guy. I don't think we should do that.
Yeah.
So all that happened was we transplanted that into a house together. Like, there was one time where he had a... What do you call it, to climb up mountains when you hit it with a stake?
Okay, the spiky things.
He had one of those. You're like, man, this would be so much fun to put through the wall. And he goes, I'm just going to do it. And I go, don't do that. And then he did it. And it was fun.
In a rental?
Then, no, it was his house.
His house.
Okay.
But then I got worried it was asbestos. And so I paid to have it patched up.
Well, you were frightened of it. It was a big hole. You're only used to
you're a small hole. You're a small hole guy.
It was too triggering. So, I had to close it. But so that was our dynamic, basically.
Can I ask another dynamic? And you feel free not to answer, but were you in a situation where you were just making friends with all the girls that were coming through the house that he was sleeping with? Was it just like random breakfast with many women?
It wasn't like I wouldn't like try and third wheel myself into their, like if they're having a drink on the balcony, I'm going to come out and go, hey
guys.
But was it always happening?
So I was in my room playing video games, wishing him all the best.
Luke McGregor's been with us this morning.
Don't give any details away, but are you writing something new for us to love, like Rosehaven, you and the Big
Celia?
C? We do. We're working on something. We would like to do more TV together.
Good.
So
I'd like you to as well.
We've been catching up and opening up Google Documents, and fingers crossed that leads to...
Both of you, since you first started Rosehaven, your lives have changed because you've both got kids now.
Yeah.
Does that alter the dynamic? Does it?
No, it's just more people to get the coffees on set and stuff.
Sure, great.
More extras.
Are your families together all the time?
No, well, Sills is in... Melbourne. I'm in.
You're in Sydney now. Newcastle, isn't it? Yeah.
But we're. There wouldn't be a day if we haven't texted each other in like a couple of days. We'll text each other and say, "How's me mate?" Or like, there's not a long period.
You're in constant contact.
I don't think I've gone without at least texting Seals more than 3 days for the last
it's different.
Years.
A different situation for you because you guys work together. But a lot of people in relationships, they put down the rule: you cannot be friends with another woman. Like, did your wife ever question or get threatened by the relationship with you and Sam?
No, I think Rosehaven might have helped because that's how...
Could you establish the fact that you're like brother and sister?
It's like platonic.
Yes.
Like it really is just a brother and sister dynamic that... and my wife was a fan of the show.
Oh, was she?
And so... Amy just sort of accepted Celia as my bestie.
Yes, because she had seen the dynamic.
Imagine being a fan of the show and then going out with the guy from the show and then he's still best friends in real life with the girl from the show and it's like you're in your show.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like you're in the show.
The Truman Show.
Yeah, it's.
Is she loving it, Amy, your wife? She must be
we got
loving it.
married, so
I know, but like, you know, so do my parents.
I don't know. I'm assuming that's the guy from the TV wears off eventually after you've watched him sleep with a mask on. And stuff.
Hey, can I ask a question
funny,
about because I saw I watched your series of Taskmaster Australia, and you were terrific. And in it, and a little clip of it appeared on Facebook the other day, and it reminded me that it was the one where you had to the task was you had to get someone to hang up on you.
Oh yeah.
And you rang your mum, hoping that she would, and then she just chit-chatted to you for about 25 minutes.
I think it was actually longer.
Yeah.
You're right, yeah. I thought Mum will answer.
Yes.
Yeah. Mum will be okay, because eventually they'll...
Because you couldn't say, you have to hang up on me. You had to just...
And they also had to be someone who would agree to be recorded.
Yes.
And so after the phone call, Mum would have to say, yes,
yes,
okay.
you can play it, yes.
And your Mum would answer, and your Mum would say, yes, that's okay, you can use my...
What you forgot was to pick somebody who would hang up.
Yeah, there was a third part that was crucial that I didn't anticipate.
And in the course of that conversation, this is my point, in the course of that conversation, she says to you, how was your date with that girl in Sydney?
Yeah.
That was Amy, right?
That's my
So
wife,
that's the beginning, the genesis of your relationship.
Yeah.
Where'd you go on the date?
We went to... God, where did we... Oh, we went to a Chinese restaurant. I can't remember what it was called.
And did you say
Special fried rice?
We went on the Ferris wheel.
Oh yeah.
Did you?
The date went from Friday till Sunday.
Luke's doing shows at the State Theatre Centre.
Hello.
Very nice, by the way. His show is called Okay, Wow. Tonight through to Sunday.
I'm already nervous about reviews going, the show's just okay, not wow. I'm already nervous about it.
I mean, you have
I would use
handed
that
it
line
to
if
them
I
on a
was a
platter.
reviewer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tickets are on sale now at comedy.com.au/tour/Luke McGregor.
Yep.
Check him out.
That's right.
Very
Small holes, big laughs.
That's right.
That's what the new one should say.
That's my motto.
That's it.
That's what I've always believed.
This goes with that of Suzanne's. That's mine.
We hope you get a good night's sleep at some stage in the near future.
If any sleep apnea companies want to sponsor me,
So is it just the cord, the power cord?
The bit I don't know what it's called, but the bit at the end is broken.
Okay, if anyone does work with sleep dialysis machines, you know the bit at the end that's broken of Luke's. If we can get some contact Nova, and we'll get you in contact with Luke because he needs to sleep tonight.
I think it'd probably be quicker if I just went to the shop after.
No, this is a desperate appeal to big CPAP.
Yeah.
We'll make it happen.
Nathan, Nat, and Sean is a Nova podcast. For more great comedy shows like this, head to novapodcasts.com.au. Nova.